This is the finest knife in the world. There's a living dragon carved on the back of the knife. The man uses this knife to slice into the pig's mouth. Then he circles the pig. Miraculously, there is no blood on the knife. Even the oil stains were absorbed by the dragon's mouth. The next moment, something even more amazing happened. This man's name is Jack. He is a top chef. He's not only an excellent cook and knife maker, he's also the mayor of this village. Today is the elder's birthday banquet, but soon after there was an accident. George is the owner of the dragon head knife. He was given the task of preparing the main dish of the birthday feast, braised pork. George was confident. He was confident that the dish would be delicious. But no sooner had the feast begun than the villagers began to wail. Then they fell unconscious. George was puzzled. He had made all the ingredients himself. Why was there a problem? Suddenly it occurred to him that he couldn't find any salt when he was preparing the dishes. A man from the same village immediately handed him the salt. It was obvious that the man had planned this. George was furious and beat him up. But there was a rule in the village that if you owned a dragon head knife you were responsible for everything. Even if he was framed, George had nothing to say. The elders confiscated the sword and threw George out of the village. To survive, George had to find a job. Then he walked into the most famous restaurant in town. When George came in, he asked, "What's your specialty?" The waiter said, "Everything's a specialty. Order whatever you want." And George immediately ordered a cabbage dish. Anyone who's read the reports knows that this dish may sound ordinary, but it's one of the most important dishes at state dinners. Chef Mike knew that he was challenging him, but he was very confident. The cabbage in boiling water was quickly brought to the table. George took a sip of the soup with his spoon. Then he closed his eyes and savored it. And then George asked for the check. And the waiter realized something was wrong. He asked why. George said it tasted very ordinary. The cabbage and the chicken were good, but there was a mistake in the process. The way you make this cabbage, any restaurant could have made it. Mike was furious when he heard what George had to say. He demanded a contest with George. Mike made a bet. If he lost, he'd quit. If he won, George would have to wash dishes at the hotel for a year. And that was George's plan. The dish they were competing over was called 8 treasure duck. It was the restaurant's specialty. Mike was confident. His eyes were like x-rays analyzing the duck's flesh from the inside out. But strangely, he didn't use a knife.